Severance Season 2 had one of the show's best episodes last week. After spending so much time with the innies inside Lumen in Season 1, I fully embraced the opportunity to see them out and about in the real world. Set against a snowy backdrop, I'd say that the ORTBO was a major success for the series, though not for Lumen. Putting the characters in the real world allowed them to have some new experiences, and the show combined them with one of Severance's most tense endings so far. But before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like and comment on the video, and if you're able, please sign up for channel memberships for exclusive content, which really helps us out. Anyway, let's get back to Lumen. So, Irving realized that Helena was pretending to be Helly and forced her and Mr. Milchick to come clean about it or he would drown her. There are a lot of layers to that reveal, and I'm glad to say that Episode 5 does a fantastic job of taking them on and exploring what the events of Season 2 Episode 4's ending mean for the show going forward. Whilst the first half of Season 2 ends on a slower note than I would have expected, I think a breather was needed after last week's ending, so it worked out alright. Two major stories had to be continued after Episode 4's ending: Irving's and Helly's. I wanted to start by delving into the first major loss the show has faced. John Turturro's work as Irving B has been compelling to watch, with the character being a stickler for the rules who eventually decides to not only break them, but challenge them in favour of his friends. It's all very thematic for the series, playing with Severance's search for the self and exploration of what constitutes such a thing. Episode 4 featured events that one would never expect Irving to be part of in Season 1. Yet, there he was, firmly standing his ground and seemingly dying to reveal one of Lumen's biggest secrets to his friends and bring Helly back. Episode 5 explored that noble sacrifice, with Lumen holding a brief funeral for Irving that took an awkward turn as Mark still had to get his head together after the events from last week's episode. Admittedly, it was nice that Irving got to be part of the episode's focus even though he died. While Irving B, the innie, might be dead, the outie version is still safe and sound. I didn't think about how the show could still keep Turturro around even if Irving B is unlikely to reappear. Due to that, I was pleasantly surprised to see that Season 2 seemed to be starting a whole separate storyline for Irving's outie. After Irving and Bert formed such a close bond on the Severed floor, I'm keen to see how the show will explore this arc with their outies now that they have met. Could feelings linger? I think so. While the aftermath of Irving's death played a role in a slower episode, there was more than enough time to focus on the ramification of Helena Egan's actions. Not only did she pretend to be Helly R, but Helena stole Mark and Helly's first time. While I expected Mark S to be relieved he and Helly are now back together on the Severed floor, I totally understand how it's taking some time for him to start feeling comfortable with her again. After all, Mark could not tell that Helly had been switched from Helena, developing trust issues. Since Helena had been pretending to be Helly, that reveal also means the real Helly had no idea Miss Casey was Mark's wife. I was shocked by how Mark played it off in such a nonchalant way. After growing used to Mark's whole happy routine and energetic persona, it was hard to watch him behave so out of character in this episode, being an asshole as Helly says to his face. It allowed the show to make him feel more like a real person, full of nuances, different from the more caricature-like way innies are sometimes represented. I find it interesting that Helena was forced to make her innie take over again due to how vital Mark's work is for Lumen, so keeping him happy is still the company's priority. Mark and Helly's relationship is at the center of the show, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that will fit in with the search for Miss Casey. That massive storyline got a new chapter. Mark's outie was able to visually confirm his wife is alive due to a vision caused by his reintegration, and I cannot wait to see the search ramp up.